Today, we're very pleasant to invite Riversgold Limited CEO, Mr. Julian Ford. Riversgold is an ASX-listed exploration company with trading code RGL. It owns a range of tenements in Western Australia. Welcome, Julian.
Good day, Steph. Nice to meet you.
So to begin with, could you please give us a brief introduction of Riversgold and its current assets?
Sure. So Riversgold was floated in 2017. While I had some influence in the original float, I joined the company in July 2021, ready to restructure and reposition the company, and that's gone pretty successfully. The original assets were gold assets in Canalpi, just southeast of Kalgoorlie, and those remain very exciting gold assets. However, for a junior explorer, the key target there was exploring under the salt lakes. While the technologies and the strategy we chose there were successful, it's very expensive for a junior explorer such as ourselves. And so with help and agreement of the board, we repositioned the company to explore for lithium as our primary target commodity here in Western Australia, primarily because I had some experience and knowledge of the lithium market in North America and Europe in the prior years. I could see there was a huge growth in the opportunity, but more importantly, I saw an opportunity in Western Australia both to define and find lithium targets and then get those into productions in a short time frame. And that was a unique opportunity I saw that didn't exist anywhere else in the world because of a combination of factors, which I think, gave us strategic strength here in Western Australia. Right. And then more recently, an opportunity came up, which we took, which was it's really a binary outcome to look at a Mt Weld, which is a rare earth target, which we'll drill quite soon, hopefully in the next couple of months. And that's, we're either going to be successful there and know pretty quickly it's relatively shallow. It's under some 80 meters of cover, so it doesn't outcrop like Mt Weld, but it's only a couple of kilometers to the west of Mt Weld, which is a great geophysical target. And as I said, that's binary. Once we drill it, we'll know whether the magnetic target there is what we're looking for or not. And that's really fits within our exploration strategy, is to drill geologically simple targets where the risk is well understood and well known, and go through lots of projects, with that exploration strategy rather than, sweat on one or two small projects, over a long period of time. And we've set ourselves up well to do that.
So as you mentioned, Riversgold has acquired multiple projects in the last 12 months. Also, we have seen the disposal of the gold assets. So to briefly say that in the near term, what the kind of ideal portfolio Riversgold tends to establish, or let's say what kind of commodity markets Riversgold is targeting at, and if there are more acquisitions or disposals under discussions.
Yeah, so we're still looking to probably dispose of our Canalpi gold assets. There's some legal tenure issues there that we have to resolve first before we can really have a meaningful valuation and disposal of those gold assets. We're really targeting geological, risk and opportunities rather than target markets. So in Western Australia, what we call the LCT, or lithium cesium tantalite model, which is what all the West Australian hard rock lithium mines are. It just so happens that because of geological time and history, they happen to occur next to gold deposits. So we'll continue to have gold in our portfolio simply because the lithium and the gold generally occur together. From a portfolio point of view, I think we're probably still overweight on greenfield targets rather than having an even balanced portfolio of mature to semi-mature to greenfield targets. And that's really our ambition in 2023, is to advance one or more of these projects into the mature phase where we're looking to develop those, monetize the value for shareholders, rather than have a portfolio of only greenfield targets.
This is a very clear direction. So how would you comment about these target markets such as lithium, rare earth, and gold in the future?
I think the gold market's pretty well understood. You know, sometimes it's known as a commodity, and sometimes it's a currency, depending on your perspective. As it's really a secondary target for us, I'm not going to go into the gold market in depth. The rare earths market, we only have one portfolio in our one asset in our portfolio at the moment. That's Mt Weld. As I mentioned before, really that's pretty binary. You know, we're either going to be successful or not. We've committed $100,000, which is, in terms of our cash position, not a huge amount. You know, considering the potential reward of that project. As far as the lithium projects go, that's really something I would like to talk about, and that's simply because, you know, there's the EV/LRB market, so lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles, is really a huge growth market. I don't think anyone would argue that quantum change across the world is happening, you know, as we speak. And there's a huge supply bottleneck, simply because, you know, the two sources of lithium, either, you know, the salars and the brine extraction in which is currently concentrated in South America, or the hard rock, which is primarily concentrated here in Western Australia. So in the short to medium term, and I'm sort of saying, you know, 2 to 7 years, the only possible way of meeting the shortfall in the global market, I believe, is hard rock mining. And the huge advantage we have in Western Australia is that our geology is very well understood and well known, as is the permitting process to take a project from discovery to production. You know, typically in Western Australia, for a hard rock mine to produce a concentrate, we can do that in 2 to 3 years. Now, nowhere else is that possible, and that's simply because of the infrastructure, the skill set, the engineering. The West Australian economies, it revolves primarily around mining and the supplying of those services. So, you know, when you look at the opportunity in terms of the market, most of the West Australian hard rock lithium mines, you know, did their feasibility studies at $500 to $750 a ton of spodumene. And, you know, the project's currently selling at $6,000 to $8,000 a ton. So that's, you know, an exceptionally extraordinary margin for any mining project. You know, I've never seen that in my 35 years of history in the mining sector. And so that's the opportunity we want to bank on. So we've got a big footprint in very prospective ground, and we've made huge strides in the last 12 months in terms of deploying modern technologies to explore a region of the world, namely Western Australia, which is very, very much underexplored for LCT lithium.
That sounds promising. So we're back to the projects Riversgold currently has, specifically in Tambourah project, the Mt Holland project, and the Mt Weld project. Could you please help us to talk about this in details respectively, including the geology advantages, the latest progressions, etc.?
Sure. So let me start with Tambourah, because that's our most advanced project. We recently announced our drill results from our 2022 drill campaign. So the region is host to 2 large projects. So Pilgangoora, owned by Pilbara Minerals, and Wodgina, owned by Minres. And they're in production and very, very profitable mines just to the north of us. Where we are at the moment, we have the majority of a very, very prospective LCT. So that's the model we use. What you need is a source, which we've got very, very high-grade lithium in the granites. That's not mine grade, but that's the source of the LCT model. And then we've got the greenstones, which is between 2 granites, and we own, you know, probably 80% of that prospective area. What we have established in the last 12 months is how to explore for and find those. You know, we've got spodumene, while they're probably not at the mine grade that we'd like. You know, we've got 13 meter intersections, I think at 0.7, or 4 meters at 0.9% lithium. So typical mine grade here in Western Australia is 1% lithium. So we're almost there. But because of the knowledge that has been developed in the last few years, we know that we're too close to the source. We know we have to move, probably a kilometre away in what's called the ultramafics, and to look for traps there. The technology we use for that, geophysics, combination of geophysics and geochemistry, is well understood. A lot of these technologies were pioneered in the gold industry in the last 50 years. So we'll apply that technology based on the huge knowledge base we built up last year to define, hopefully, what become company-making drill targets and resources in 2023. So that's the Tambourah project, and we're very excited about a virgin discovery of spodumene. We're the last company to get our tenements, but the first ones to get on the ground and start drilling, which I'm pretty proud of. The first one to find spodumene in what I think is going to become a big lithium province in and around Tambourah. And we work very closely, however, with our neighbours. It makes sense to do that and share information, resources and logistics, because the Pilbara, while it is a big producer of many commodities, mostly iron ore, of course, and copper increasingly these days, and obviously lithium, it is remote. So the second priority target in terms of the most advanced is obviously Mount Weld. And that's simply because it's a barnarine, that's a rare earth target. We'll drill that, as I said, in the next few months. I'd say by the end of the second quarter this year, we'll know whether, how prospective that is. And then lastly, we have what we call our Southern Cross province, which is a region of greenstone belts going all the way from Southern Cross for about 100 kilometres down to just north of Forrestania. The centre of gravity in terms of drilling at the moment is around the Mount Holland project, which is owned 50-50 by Wesfarmers and SQM. So that project will be going to production. I think they're, probably 80% of the way through construction of that mine. Costs have gone up, but, it's a multi-billion-dollar development, and we're really on the boundary there. We've done our geochem, we've done our geophysics, and as soon as we complete our heritage survey, which will actually be this Friday and Saturday, we'll complete our heritage survey. We don't expect any problems there because the area has been drilled before. But you're probably aware, or maybe some of your listeners not aware, that we have a new Native Title Act in Western Australia, which is being progressively implemented since December 2020 and 2021. So we're complying with that native title, and work with the native title holders to clear the area and then start drilling. We've had our POW, which is our program of works, approved. And then we have a much larger green field sites just north of that, and we're just looking to access that ground now. This is mostly wheat farming area, so we have to get in the ground before they start cropping and planting crops in April. And that's really our portfolio. Our Canopy Gold project, as I said, it's on the market at the moment, but we have some tenure issues, and those were well understood by our shareholders. And when the time is right and the price is right, we'd look to exit.
Correct. Knowing that the land size of those tenements is pretty large, so for exploring those, does Riversgold have sufficient fund for supporting its work plan in, let's say, 6 or 12 months?
Absolutely. So we've realized, just over $1 million in the sale of our Alaskan gold assets. I think we've got one payment left, which is nominally $300,000 in March. What we're looking for, we raised $6.5 million end of last year. So, we've got $6.5+ billion in the bank, which is more than enough for this year, certainly. All our drill projects this year will probably be half that amount. So fortunately, we're very well funded, and it's very frustrating to see where not only our share price, but everyone else's share price is at the moment, given, the fundamental values of the company. But we won't have to be raising any money for the next 18 months. And so we're well funded to execute in what has been a very successful exploration program for the company in the past 15 months.
So could you please help us to summarize what are sort of like what plans on those projects, or let's say what sort of news flows the market can expect from Riversgold in the following months of 2023?
Yeah, so we'll start drilling next month. Firstly, Mount Weld, I suspect, and then Mount Holland. And we're doing some geophysics and some more geochem up in the at Tambourah. This is based on the success of our geochem and geophysics and drilling from last year. So as we get those results in, the dry season up in the Pilbara really starts around May. So sort of May, June, we'll probably look to get on the ground and start drilling again in what we believe is the Goldilocks zone, which is about 4 kilometers away from the granites, which is the source of the lithium. So the model's well understood. We have some of the world's leading experts on our payroll, which we use to consult. And we've obviously now spent a year up in the Pilbara and are very familiar and comfortable exploring there. So for the next 6 months, certainly we'll be drilling 3, maybe 4 projects. And the news flow will start coming through the market, I suspect, from about May onwards.
Wonderful. So any additional message you would like to deliver to the market?
No, I think, for investors, a tough time. The fundamentals have never been better for the commodities we're exploring for. We picked up a whole bunch of greenfield projects and have turned those into drill targets and have been successful in finding what we're looking for. Prices in terms of primarily, well, especially lithium, have never ever been as good as they are now, and I suspect will never be as good, certainly for the next 5 years, as they currently are. So this is a wonderful time to be in the space we're in with a bank balance that allows us to do what we're doing without dilution. For the long-suffering shareholders, I empathize, but what we can control is what we do in the ground, and that's what we focused on.
Totally agree. Thank you, Julian, for taking us to look close at Riversgold. I believe it will be a very busy year for you and the company to explore such a large-scale tenements package. We look forward definitely to hearing more good news in the coming months and hope to see you soon.
Thanks, Steph, and very excited about the year ahead. It's hopefully going to be a groundbreaking landmark year for us in terms of discoveries. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.